A political rally stripped of its audience often leaves behind little more than an empty shell. In Washington, D.C., high-production tents and carefully arranged stages sit abandoned to the elements. To the remote viewer, the event is framed as a triumph. The official broadcast of the Great American State Fair presents a manufactured image of a pristine, orchestrated celebration bathed in patriotic lighting and timed pyrotechnics. The financial footprint of this display is significant. Taxpayer dollars are directed toward military flyovers and vast cosmetic displays of power, resources that are diverted away from domestic needs like healthcare or infrastructure. State-aligned media personalities immediately amplify the broadcast. Through their framing, physical attendance at these heavily funded events is presented as a test of patriotism, encouraging followers to join the spectacle regardless of the conditions. But the high-definition broadcast is a carefully maintained illusion. The optics of military might and perfectly framed celebrations serve to obscure the chaotic conditions and health risks experienced by the attendees on the ground. On the ground, away from the television cameras, the experience of the actual attendees is vastly different. The crowd is left to manage without the safety protocols typically required for an intensive outdoor event. The environment itself becomes a factor. The National Weather Service issued a severe warning for the immediate area, with heat index values peaking between 110 and 115 degrees Fahrenheit. In the line of sight of the cameras, there is almost no cover provided. The medical infrastructure was stressed by the predictable conditions. Emergency medical vehicles rushed past the crowds as attendees, standing in the heat for hours, collapsed one after another. The fallout required serious intervention. 44 patients required treatment for heat exhaustion. 11 individuals were transported to local hospitals, and 7 people had to be placed on advanced life support. While emergency workers scrambled to manage the casualties, the official rhetoric from the stage and aligned media insisted that supporters must endure the extreme temperatures to prove their loyalty to the movement. In this environment, the drive for a visual turnout takes precedence over the health risks of the crowd. The presence of the supporter is valued, even when the safety of those supporters is no longer guaranteed by the organizers. The willingness to subject followers to physical danger is mirrored by a system of financial extraction. The base is treated as a resource to be harvested for capital. When leadership launched a series of dedicated cryptocurrency tokens and meme stocks, they marketed the assets directly to their own base. The assets carried official branding and were framed as a secure way to support the movement. While political insiders extracted $2.2 billion in profit, retail investors who bought in suffered $4 billion in losses. Following this down, one machinist invested $40,000 into family tokens. His shares dropped 79%, a loss of over $32,000. Despite the massive transfer of wealth away from the working class, leadership normalizes the damage. Officials publicly wave off any conflicts of interest, instead rebranding these steep financial losses as a form of technological innovation. This strain on individual savings is consistent with a system designed to harvest capital. The mechanism allows for a direct flow of wealth from the base to the top, regardless of the financial outcome for individual investors. A system that extracts physical health and financial stability from its own base faces a structural problem, keeping those victims from acknowledging the harm. The cohesion of the movement relies on a form of cognitive dissonance. To maintain their allegiance, followers often find ways to reinterpret their experiences so that the leader is shielded from direct accountability. The investor who lost $32,000 on branded cryptocurrency refused to blame the organizers. Instead, he concluded that political enemies must have secretly coordinated short positions to intentionally deflate the value of his investment. This rationalization extends to physical events. When an outdoor speech at Mount Rushmore was interrupted by dangerous winds and golf ball-sized hail, some supporters refused to acknowledge the risks of the location. Instead, followers circulated claims that political enemies had utilized technology to geoengineer a severe storm, specifically to target the event and its attendees. This framework of blame provides a resilient layer of defense against disillusionment. It allows these supporters to preserve their loyalty by completely dismissing evidence that would otherwise contradict their trust in the movement. As the United States approaches its 250th anniversary, the reality of these events highlights a divide in how civic duty is understood. The obsession with projecting power through massive crowd sizes mirrors political spectacles found in authoritarian contexts. In these systems, the optics of loyalty are prioritized over the welfare of the individuals standing in the street. This specific dynamic, where the public exists primarily to validate and enrich a leader, is a hallmark of regimes that rely on a populace willing to submit to the demands of a spectacle. The American Democratic Project was designed as a rejection of that dynamic. As former President Obama noted, the country's founding principle is that there are no monarchs or rulers, only citizens. The safeguards in the Constitution were created to protect against leaders who view the public as a resource to be exploited. They ensure that governance is dictated by rules, rather than the demands of a single personality. Patriotism in this sense has little to do with surviving dangerous rally conditions or draining a life savings into a branded asset. It does not require a performative or financially ruinous display of loyalty. Sustaining a republic requires the work of self-governance and accountability. It survives only when the people refuse to pay the physical and financial costs demanded by the machinery of a grift.